Hi, this is Lotus Sattva with Parabuilding, and I'm so grateful to be here today with Nandhi, who is bringing down the pure divine truth, clearer than I've heard in this body ever before. So Nandhi, I'd love for you to share a bit about who you are, just to introduce yourself to the world.
Hi, I'm Tapasyogi Nandhi, and my journey has been through consciousness, and as a yogi, the first thing I would feel about myself is, as here on planet Earth, what is my highest purpose? And that highest purpose, which I know as consciousness, is what I unfold each day and what I teach, and what I know is in the heart of each one of us today to want as realities. So here I am.
And we are so blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Can you explain what you mean when you say consciousness?
Yes, we've all seen the movie, or we've heard of the movie Secret. And when we realize, when we work our thought as one single thought, that would manifest. What if that one thought was source, void, God, all the possibilities, all the super being that we call God? What if a thought was held on to that for days, months, years together? That builds this potent consciousness. Now that potent consciousness has been thriving through the yogic traditions of India for thousands of years. And that potent consciousness it flows very naturally. In other words, it awakens everyone with ease. And if you ask me, Nandhi, what really do you mean by consciousness in terms of what it does to you? The first thing consciousness does is liberates us. It liberates us from the mind.
Mental slavery or something, mental enslavement.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it liberates us to understand freedom, and from liberation and freedom we understand love. In other words, love that is unconditional coming from the liberated mind is pure love that is light. And that light is consciousness. Where we think from is consciousness. So this consciousness does not rely on IQ of anybody. It's just our ability to connect to our innermost self, and in the understanding and realization of consciousness, we each become the master. And this is the special, amazing being that we really are, each one of us uniquely made. And when that wakes up, we understand we are inspired beings. When we are inspired, we step into the higher conscious mind, and we become the form of joy and bliss that we have been seeking. There's no more seeking, we are the joy. We are consciousness. Oneness, absolutely.
And you said something earlier about how there's something timeless about the transmission of mastery. Can you explain a little bit about what you mean by that? What is your view of time and how it plays into mastery?
See, ultimately, how we think is from our mind and from the breath. What if a breath became the breathlessness? Now, we step into breathlessness, what happens to the thought which began with breath? Now the thoughts begins to climb higher. Now we step beyond the mind, you step into the timelessness. Now when you step into the timelessness, we begin to understand there's a state of joy within that. And that state of joy within that is the awareness within the no-mind state. And when we come back into time, that is the physical realities, we define time. In other words, We are like the eagle flying in timelessness.
Mm.
When we bring our focus into one specific thing, we are the genius in time. So timelessness defines time as the genius of being. Mhm.
Genius of being.
Uh-huh.
How could that ripple out and create enlightenment around the world?
See, when you come to this beautiful place, arise, what's so amazing, what's so beautiful, what's so joyful is seeing so much of conscious blossoms everywhere. Everyone, their art, their outpouring, their dance, everything is from a state of consciousness that is so blossoming, right? And no matter what, anyone just wading through is going to catch up with that energy. Now, when we work with consciousness, the first thing we understand is we are lit inside ourselves. In other words, every breath of ours is from the state of being alight within, with awareness. And so is every thought. And when the thoughts are from the highest place, we are now overflowing with consciousness. Now, when we overflow with consciousness, what does it mean? All masters through history, from Plato to Mahatma Gandhi, to all the masters, including the living master Amachi, all of them come from one intent, that consciousness must flow for everyone. And all of them, when they meditated, they saw the same truth. That same truth is consciousness. And this consciousness is there for everyone, anyone.
And you said something before about religions being about nonviolence, and if it isn't about nonviolence, can you explain a little bit about what the perspective is on that?
Yes. So all the masters throughout history talked about consciousness. St. Francis of Assisi, name all the masters, and they had one thing in common, and that was peace. But this peace was a peace of love, a peace of non-harming, a peace of non-killing, a peace that was ahimsa.
Ahimsa.
Mahatma Gandhi's life message, ahimsa. Today, it is so easy for us to understand ahimsa principle. If today Jesus Christ was with us, we'd say, wow, because we resonate with what he was saying. But in those days, he was way beyond his age for consciousness, so they crucified him. So all the masters of consciousness were crucified or killed through history. But December 21st, 2012, Declaration of Consciousness, our movement was born. To declare consciousness has finally won the war. Now when we as conscious beings come together, now let's set pace of what consciousness is all about. One, non-violence is the way a conscious community, a conscious person, a conscious nation is. Women are equal, if not more equal than a man. Children need to be protected. Planet Earth, all of us need to be concerned about planet Earth. All of us need to be doing good for planet Earth, no matter what. Like this, likewise, the elders need to be taken care of. Like this, consciousness is ever growing, but all these conscious principles are so apparently aligned to any one of us who are conscious.
Okay, I want to touch on a couple different things you just brought up. One, you mentioned did you call it the spark within each person? The spark, is that how you described it? The fire? You said something earlier about a grid. Can you speak about how the fire within me, the fire within any one being, connects with the grid?
Wow. Yes. This is beautiful because this is the nature of our time and the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is the we principle, we, collective we. The I disappears. Now when we come as a collective we are now shining, each one of us are shining in our genius, but when we come together, the genius now brings synergy into motion. Brings, look at technology today. Technology is growing so fast. But what is producing the technology is also the mind, and that's also consciousness. Right? So the more of consciousness, the faster of technology, but then the more of consciousness, the more technology will converge to multiply technology, which I would say the reality, into the super reality of consciousness. Now imagine the declaration of consciousness as the way we see it. We see it as a grid where all the movements of consciousness come together. We see it as each one of us coming to express these are the conscious companies, businesses, movies, books, magazines. If 1 million of us do it, we've got the database. Now, each one of us being the masters are able to deliver consciousness to those who seek it. And consciousness can be delivered through music, art, talk, lecture, yoga, tai chi, dance. It's endless. But within it all is a state of joy. So we transfer consciousness to the state of joy. And joy is contagious. And in a moment we've got it. That's the supreme union, is being in the states of joy that makes us the love formed, the bliss formed. And being in bliss is being God, being conscious.
Being God. All of us.
Being God, ultimately the supreme word to express consciousness is, are we liberated to be? Be, yes. Liberated to be, yes. And that also the momentum forward, that every action of ours comes from the primal goodness of our heart, so it affects everyone, consciously and unconsciously.
Thank you. So well said. To shift gears a little bit, I want to make sure that we share a bit about your vision for the sanctuaries, for the elder mothers, that by saving their lives and choosing nonviolence could end hunger. Can you explain how this is possible, the sacred vision to end hunger, people?
Okay. Today, we hear the news of Islamic State and the primal medieval ignorance, killing and the works. And every one of us are a part of that. Every one of us are a part of that. How do we negate it? We do giant compassion and we negate it. And a giant compassion is in the form of my childhood dream, which is save the life of every single old cow on planet Earth. Create biodynamic organic farms, grow the most intelligent food, cross-pollinate, create communities around the world, across the globe. And in a moment, we now have biodynamic, organic, intelligent food with a percentage to feed the hungry. So now on one dimension is humanity's consciousness shifting into compassion by saving the life of cows. Mother Earth happy. No hungry person on planet Earth. The Monsanto lobby is addressed intelligently by action. That's the Arivan vision. So in this Arivan vision...
Can you look at the camera and say this is the Arivan
vision?
Yes,
this is the Arivan vision. And in this Arivan vision, Ari means to know. So now that we are awake, what shall we do together? This is the Arivan.
Join us! We are Arivan! Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you
so much,
Nandhi.
Nandhi.
Thank you.